Well, it's time we catch up on what's happening in the current affairs. Who'd have thought it, huh? Sandton is one of the most luxurious places in the whole country and in the whole of Gauteng. But the district has failed to settle its municipal debts, forcing the city of Joburg into drastic action. Over the past week or so, we've seen officials in Tshwane turn the electricity and water services off at several key institutions. Buildings occupied by SAPS and SARS have been cut off during the drive, which aims to force the biggest offenders in the province to settle their outstanding bills. On Wednesday, chickens came home to roost in Johannesburg. Officials came and confirmed that 9 buildings, including office parks and municipal venues, will be targeted in Sandton, which owes a staggering 158 million rand to the metro. The city has issued notices of termination of services, and the organizations will be visiting today to be given 14 days to respond with the option to settle the amount outstanding or to make arrangements for settlement. 9 buildings will be visited today in the city's efforts to recover some of the biggest municipal debts. There are over 38 billion in municipal debts that is owed to the city. The biggest debt belonging to Sandton with 158 million rand. Sala House, home of the Municipal Pension Fund Management Center and the Johannesburg Society of Advocates, was the first stop on the recovery tour. A debt of 7.4 million has been racked up in this building. The Sandown Village Office Park has also been identified as non-compliant venue, and they're owed monies of about 600,000 rand, which has led to both the city electricity and water being shut off this morning. Well, yesterday morning, in fact. The message couldn't be clearer from the city of Joburg. Settle your debts or face the consequences. Yeah. At great cost to life and health, the failure to reopen the Charlotte Maxeke Hospital is the latest sad chapter and lesson in what happens when a prima facie evidence of corruption is ignored by the Gauteng government and the premier, and when dishonest officials are allowed to continue their work in proximity of multi-billion rand contracts. It's now 10 months since the fire at Charlotte Maxeke Johannesburg Academic Hospital on the 16th of April last year, and 30% of the 1,088-bed hospital is still closed. Casualty is closed, the special psychiatric ward is closed, the cardiothoracic ICU is closed. There is no parking for doctors, nurses, or patients, and normal teaching of the University of Witwatersrand medical students is being severely affected. The oncology clinic is open, but the Cancer Alliance says it has 2,000 people on its waiting list. Firefighters battled Friday night fire on the 16th of April last year for more than 24 hours to control the blaze at the hospital. According to some, the fire damage and its after effects are causing permanent harm and avoidable death on a scale akin to life-ending disaster amongst cancer patients alone. In addition, the other tertiary hospitals that have had to pick up the slack without being given additional budgets are groaning under the burden. The National Assembly Speaker, Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula, on Wednesday turned down the African Transformation Movement request to have the vote of no confidence in President Cyril Ramaphosa via secret ballot. Mapisa-Nqakula said she wouldn't be able to grant them their request when the vote of no confidence was yet to be considered. ATM lost a bid in a Supreme Court of Appeal last year, which set aside another court verdict of former Speaker Thandi Modisa's decision declining the party's motion to vote through a secret ballot. Mapisa-Nqakula said she would request Parliament's schedule committee to hold the motion once due to consultations had been finalized. ATM said under Ramaphosa, the country had a dismal economic outlook and therefore he should be removed as the president of the country. Leaders of Operation Tudula, Nhlanhla Lux Dlamini, said they will continue their operations despite being shot with stun grenades on their last operation in Hillbrow last week. Dlamini says their operations where they visit foreign-owned shops are conducted with the law enforcement present. This group is also accusing undocumented foreign nationals of being responsible for the rising levels of crime in communities, running drug and prostitution syndicates. Speaking to Clement Manyatela, Dlamini says they do not target foreign nationals. When we do have an operation, we go with the police. There is no operation that has happened without law enforcement. These are complaints that come in, by the way, and we take the complaints seriously. That this spaza shop is selling expired products, let's deal with it. A case is then opened and a search takes place, and if there is a firearm involved, the police take it and take the shop owner or the shop caretaker. Police fired stun grenades, rubber bullets, tear gas, and water cannons at Operation Dudula members when they were on their way to carry out an operation in Hillbrow. For more than a year, we have never had a problem with the police. The first time we have a problem is when we decided to go to the heart of the illegal foreigners where there are serious crimes. These criminals have a stronghold on the police, we think. So everyone who is there is not invited. These are concerned South Africans who are willing to live and die for the future of the country because the law enforcement is failing us, according to Nhlanhla Lux Dlamini, the leader of Operation Dudula. 26 minutes after 9 a.m. Held at the Birchwood Hotel in Boksburg, friends, family, and local entertainers came together to celebrate the life of Nomakula Cooley Roberts. Former trending SA host Shaka Sisulu and Only Jokes Allowed star Nina Hasty acted as program directors for the memorial service. The two comedians kept the day light and humorous. It is how they thought Cooley would have wanted the day to go. School friends and former colleagues of the fallen star have shared various stories of Cooley that brought both laughter and sadness. Comedians Kumba Hlope shared how he met Cooley in 2014, and from the moment their paths crossed, she was crazy, and how she always wanted to be barefoot because she just wanted to be free. He went on to mention that one thing he learned from her is that every day she's writing a page in her own book, and that page is full of love, laughter, and craziness. Skumba turned it around and asked the attendees what they were writing in their books, asking whose lives they were changing and whether they were living a lie like many people or living their truth like Cooley. And he thanked Cooley's family for giving her to all the people she worked with over her many years in the industry. Happiness Ever After star Nambita Ben Mazwi shared a tribute to Cooley and showed how they met on the set of Trending SA and how Cooley said that Nambita looked like her sister and referred to her as such from that day onwards. Nambita went on to share that Cooley was like a big sister to her in the entertainment industry. Sharing part of her tribute, Nambita thanked Cooley and said, "Thank you for being my compass when I didn't even realize I needed one. Thank you for always looking out for me, for your honesty, for your presence, and for always showing up no matter what. Enkosi Cooley for always being you." Ushubi Mboya, along with Cooley's children, shared a short eulogy and a message to the attendees regarding her sister after the performance by Ringo Madlingozi. Cooley's funeral is set to take place today, and it is a small, intimate gathering. Scopa again decides against calling President Ramaphosa to answer for the misuse of state funds for ANC campaigns. This comes after the members of Scopa were forced to vote on whether to call Ramaphosa to answer questions by the MPs. The outcome of Wednesday night's meeting came a few hours after Ramaphosa told journalists in Cape Town he did not have a problem with going to Scopa to answer questions. Earlier, the committee was split on whether to call Ramaphosa after his reply to the committee. Scopa had decided against summoning Ramaphosa after ANC MP Mervyn Dix wrote to the committee asking that he be called to appear before it. Dirks has since been removed by the ANC and suspended by his caucus over the matter. In his written reply to the committee, which has since been leaked to the media, Ramaphosa claims to not have direct knowledge of the misuse of funds and rather advises to wait the final release of the Zondo Commission report, where some of the allegations were raised. Some of the information regarding this matter had already been in the public domain prior to the meeting at which the statement was made, of which committee members are no doubt equally aware. He said the details of the extent of the misuse of public funds will no doubt become clear once the Commission of Inquiry's final report is submitted. During Wednesday's meeting, Parliament's legal advisor, Fatima Ibrahim, read out legal advice which agreed with Ramaphosa that the committee should wait for the final Zondo report. The advice suggested that the creation of a subcommittee to deal with the matter because it involves state security agency. But that part of the legal advice was rejected by political parties. ANC MPs supported the legal advice, while opposition parties insisted Ramaphosa be called to answer to Scopa. After intense debate, chairperson of the committee, Mkhululeko Hlengwa, put the matter to a vote. The ANC won with 6 votes against the opposition's 4. Finally, and further afield, in this troubled continent of Africa, Tigrayan fighters deliberately killed civilians and gang raped dozens of women under age in 2 towns in Ethiopia's Amhara region last year. Amnesty International said on Wednesday the latest example of the horrific toll exacted by the 15-month war. The rights watchdog interviewed 30 rape survivors, some as young as 14 years old, and other victims of violence to draw a picture of the atrocities in Chena and Kobo in August and September, after the rebels from Tigray's People's Liberation Front, the TPLF, seized control of the towns. Nearly half the victims of sexual violence said they were gang raped, with doctors telling Amnesty that some survivors had suffered lacerations likely caused by rifle bayonets inserted into their genitals. A 14-year-old schoolgirl told the rights group that she and her mother were both raped by the TPLF fighters, who said the attacks were in revenge for atrocities committed against their own families. One of them raped me in the courtyard and the other raped my mother inside the house, she said. My mother is very sick now. She is very depressed and desperate. We don't speak about what happened. It is impossible. The investigation follows publication of the Amnesty report in November, which documented sexual assault by the Tigrayan rebels in the Amhara town of Nifas Mechwa. Evidence is mounting of a pattern of Tigrayan forces committing war crimes and possible crimes against humanity in areas under the control of the Amhara region, July 2021 and onwards. This includes repeated incidents of widespread rape, summary killings, and looting, including from a hospital. Now, residents of Kobo said the TPLF fighters shot dead unarmed civilians, apparently in a revenge killing spree after facing resistance to their advance in the Amhara militias. The war in northern Ethiopia has been punctuated by accounts of massacres and mass rapes, with thousands of people killed and hundreds of thousands on the brink of starvation. A joint investigation by the UN Rights Chief Michelle Bachelet's office and the government-affiliated Ethiopian Human Rights Commission, published last November, found evidence of serious abuses, saying some violations may amount to crimes against humanity.
We are extraterrestrial. We are KNR.